Thank you for tuning in to watch the Clayton Chamber of Commerce 2020 Platforms at the Podium video series. My name is Brad Palmer and I am the chair of the Clayton Chamber's Legislative and Governmental Affairs Committee. This political forum video series serves as a key initiative for this committee. This year, the CCOC will feature races for North Carolina Superintendent of Public Instruction, North Carolina House, North Carolina Senate, Johnston County Commissioners, and the Johnston County Public Schools Board of Education. Each video will be released individually as part of a series, so I highly encourage you to visit the Clayton Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel to watch each video on the 2020 Platforms at Podium's playlist. All candidates for each race were invited to participate, and the candidates you see in the video are those that responded and agreed to appear. Each of the candidates were given 60 seconds to answer each of 3 questions, plus an additional 60 seconds for a closing statement. The video will flow from one question to another. Each candidate's answer will be shown in alphabetical order by last name. Each viewer is encouraged to watch this video in its entirety in order to make the most informed decision you can at the polls in November. And thank you again for watching.
The county was at the beginning of the budgeting process when COVID-19 first hit. Our budget projections for the coming year and fiscal year 20 and 21 called for a reduction in our forecasting of around 25% in sales tax. Fortunately, the numbers came in and matched what last year's numbers for the same period of time. So because of our conservative budgeting, our conservative approach to matching revenues to expenses, we don't foresee a budget shortfall this year from the virus.
I will propose enacting another economic impacts payment from the federal government as the #1 proposal. However, we're talking about what we can do as citizens. I would suggest to apply for unemployment, export emergency savings, slash your expenses, and talk to your banker about hardship relief, and explore other ways of earning income, such as changing careers.
Johnston County is scheduled to receive over $5 million from the CARES Act legislation appropriated by Congress. Within this legislation, local governments are allowed to create small business grant and loan programs to assist small businesses impacted by COVID-19. I would move to initiate a $1 million small business grant program using proceeds from the CARES Act legislation to assist our small businesses that were ineligible for PPP loans or any other form of government assistance. Our small businesses are the backbones of our communities, and we must have them remain viable after we have conquered COVID-19. Johnston County is in the wonderful position to be able to assist our small business owners in their greatest time of need.
Well, in Johnston County, this COVID-19 has affected so many small businesses, and our Department of Economic Development needs to have a fund that will help reestablish these small businesses. Our big businesses take care of themselves, but many of our small moms and pops are suffering financially. Many won't open again. So I propose a citizens board for economic development and a fund specially set up to help small businesses.
Over the years, I've had to deal with the impact of recession and COVID-19 in my businesses. Because of the government-imposed shutdown of our economy, local governments must deal with the reality of lost revenue. When faced with a similar challenge in my businesses and a former county commissioner, I've learned the first action should be to review expenses and prioritize those which are necessary and those that are optional, and to eliminate the expenses that are not necessary. Next, we must look at how we can protect and increase the revenue needed by our local governments. We do so by opening our economy. that will lead to an increase in our sales tax revenue and stabilize our property tax base. Furthermore, we need to grow our economy by creating an environment that attracts stable private sector jobs in Johnston County.
We are fortunate to have so many great opportunities in Johnston County. This has been a trying time for the citizens throughout this past year. Our responsibility, I believe, is to try to alleviate as much financial burden as we can. Since we began our modeling for 2021-22 budget, all our models indicate that we're going to give a tax reduction for the coming year. Also, I want to continue to move forward with our comprehensive land use plan. We need to finish that so that we can do smart growth. And thirdly, I think we need to continue our plan we started 1 year ago for our recreation parks expansion.
First, I would consider transportation and the infrastructure that transportation provides. It will provide easy access to jobs, as well as getting to doctor's appointments and the grocery store. Healthcare should be available for all the citizens in Johnston County, and I'm concerned about the food distribution. Where these stores are located, and with no transportation system, it is difficult for our people who are marginalized as when it comes to income. It is difficult for them to get to places such as the grocery store.
My top 3 priorities for Johnston County are: number 1, providing adequate funding for Johnston County Public Schools; number 2, prioritizing critical infrastructure needs such as broadband internet access and school facility construction; and number 3, promoting responsible growth within our unincorporated communities. The one initiative that county commissioners must address is the lack of broadband internet access in most of Johnston County. Thanks to new wireless technology, we will be able to deploy broadband to these communities at a cheaper and more efficient operation than we would have in the past. We've seen this happen in our neighboring counties of Wayne and Nash, and we must do the same thing for our citizens here in Johnston. The lack of broadband internet access in our community is keeping back our communities and holding down our economy.
So there's many issues that are affecting Johnston County. One is equality and equity. So we need to make sure that we spread the wealth across this county and that the poorest of the poor are taken care of. The second thing, which I think is very, very important, is gun violence. And we need to work with our law enforcement stakeholders to create a way of buybacks and a way of education. And the third thing, which is so critical to every means of Johnston County, is transportation. So we must immediately, not 5 years or 10 years, but immediately create a task force made up of the stakeholders, including the poorest of the poor, to correct the problem with transportation.
My top 3 priorities are shaped by my belief that government should focus on its core priorities, do them well, and not try to be all things to all people. Every dollar spent should bring value and improve the lives of our citizens. First, government must plan for and build the infrastructure required for our growing county. And top on that list is to build new schools and eliminate mobile classrooms. Second, we should ensure that our county's contribution to the school system is at least equal to the state average on a per student basis. And third, we must adequately fund our sheriff's office to keep safe streets, safe homes, and safe schools. The key initiative that will have the greatest impact on the well-being of our county is to develop a comprehensive plan that articulates a clear vision for Johnston County's future growth and outlines the infrastructure needed to accompany that growth.
First of all, we have a great relationship with our partners from the western part of the state. We are partnered with Clayton with the pharmaceuticals. We are partnered with Clayton with the RTZ zone, and we have partnered with them with our initiatives that we began 1 month ago to help us with smart growth. Also, we have 3 virtual towns on this side: McGee's Crossroads, Cleveland Community, and Flowers Plantation. So what we do in Princeton, North Carolina, is what we do in McGee's Crossroads. And what we do in Cleveland, we do in Benson. So therefore, if we move forward with our comprehensive land use plan, that we'll be able to help manage growth in the areas that need growth now.
I think the best way to manage the growth that is occurring in Johnston County is to establish a citizens review board, including stakeholders, to recommend ways in which we can marginalize or manage the growth in Johnston County. It is true that the growth is in the western part of the county.
Managing growth in Johnston County will be the #1 challenge facing us for the foreseeable future. With our population expected to increase by an additional 100,000 residents by 2040, it is critical that we utilize a different approach towards planning for the next 20 years than we did for the previous 20 years. I would move to create a brand new Growth Center Task Force made up of officials from our County Commission, County Administration, working in conjunction with officials from our towns in western Johnston County, bringing in members of our Board of Education, Public Safety Departments, and Public Utility Departments. This working group of individuals would meet on a recurring basis and review the latest trends in building permits being issued, school system enrollment figures, and facility capacities. This data can then be provided in the form of feedback to county commissioners so that we can be more proactive in making amendments to our land use plan to prevent some of the same problems we've allowed to happen over the last 20 years.
So Johnston County is a growing county, and we need to not only grow based upon people moving in, but we need to work as a whole. And that means in western Johnston County, places like Cleveland and Clayton, we need to have a task force. And that is a development task force, because if we don't control growth, it will control us. And if we stop growth, they'll go somewhere else. And we don't need that. We need that revenue, and we need that to be equally divided amongst our county.
The county commissioners have a duty to work with local government entities like the town of Clayton to maintain Johnston County as a place where people enjoy a high quality of life and are proud to call home. To do this, the county, with input from towns like Clayton, should work together to develop a comprehensive plan that articulates a clear vision for Johnston County's future growth and outlines the infrastructure needed to accompany that growth. This plan should include intelligent, thoughtful rules and regulations that protect our quality of life and uphold private property rights. Also, the process for developing this plan should engage from and hear from key stakeholders such as farmers, homeowners, and business community. By following this process, we can identify and address current concerns as well as plan for issues and challenges that will emerge down the road.
I'd like to thank the Clayton Chamber of Commerce for this opportunity for the candidates to meet and give those positions. I am a businessman, I have kids in school, and I care about this community. If you're going to serve, you got to have a real passion to do the things that needs to be done in the county. I think I can provide that leadership. I have been an elected official in some capacity for 20 years, and so as we move forward, I believe my leadership will be a benefit to this county.
We see rapid growth in Johnston County. Transportation seems to be the biggest concern, with the infrastructure being established in the western part of North Carolina. I would suggest that for transportation availability that we increase the bicycle lanes on the roads, placing sidewalks, park and ride intervention is also a way to establish the transportation needs of the people. Public bus transportation is another. Uber and other taxi cab would be an asset to the citizens of Johnston County.
Johnston County is facing many critical decisions over the next 2 to 3 years. Among those decisions is a complete rewrite of our land use plan as to how we will manage and pay for all the growth that will occur over the next 20 years. We must have a better plan for managing growth than what we've seen for the last 20 years. How will we all accommodate the new people that are moving here and enrolling children in school? How will we pay for those schools? How will we fund Johnston County Public Schools to actually improve our test scores and improve our school system ranking? These are all decisions that need to be made by people that will be the most impacted. That is the young residents moving here, young families under the age of 40, which I'm a part of. Our generation and the generation behind me will be the most impacted by these decisions. It is critical that we have a voice at the table. I'm Justin King, and I look forward to working on your behalf.
So I'm Wendy LMA. As a fighter for all the people of Johnston County, as a faith leader, as a veteran, as a farmer, as a person who cares about you, I'm asking you to support me this time in November. Why? Because I'm fighting for the right of a voice for every single person in Johnston County. Some people say I'm full of it. I am. I'm full of empathy. I'm full of truth. I'm full of love. And I'm full of solutions. Visit my website at wendylma.com. That's wendylma.com. And look at my solutions, because it's about time that we do that in Johnston County.
I believe that good government requires vision, passion, and discipline. My vision is Johnston County making public safety its priority number one. The most fundamental duty of government is to provide safe streets, safe homes, and safe schools. To provide a quality education for all Johnston County students so that they can level the playing field. And number three is to only tax the hard-earned money of our citizens as much as is absolutely necessary to perform government's key function. My passion is that Johnston County is my home. I want to leave it better than I found it. I believe that commissioners deal with real issues that affect real people, and I believe I have experience and knowledge to have a positive impact as a proven leader. Government should have the discipline to do the things for citizens that it can do best and do them well.